It looks like the camera is pretty blurry again. Sorry about that. Ah. Well, today I wanted to talk about dating and that sort of thing. Love is something that INFPs, like we really are, like most human beings, we like it a lot, but we have difficulty a lot of times in like dating and relationships. And that's not true for everyone, of course, but it's true for a lot of us. So I've been doing a little bit of research on it to find out what we can do to get a little bit more skilled at not just dating, because we're not really like serial daters. We like monogamy usually. Um, Not to become like a skilled dater, but just to become a little more comfortable with ourselves in a relationship, are comfortable in a relationship. Okay, so there were two things I found that really stood out to me that I wanted to share. You can let me know what you think about these. The first suggestion, and I forget who I got this from, but it was from an ENFP, who they usually pretty understand us pretty well. And his advice was that INFPs should focus on accepting themselves and loving themselves. And that sounds a little simplistic at first because we're all told that you have to love yourself before someone else can love you, which is not always true. But it's a valid point though. But for us, a lot of times because we are so misunderstood most of the time, like that is one of the defining qualities of an INFP, unfortunately, is that they are often misunderstood by others. And so that leads us to believe a lot of times that because we kind of live in the past and we direct our future based on what's already happened to us in the past, if we've been misunderstood so often by friends, by families, by other people who we're intimate with, we start to assume, well, it's just going to be that way forever. And it's kind of sad. And we start to think, I guess something is kind of wrong with me because nobody understands me. And instead of loving ourselves and appreciating the quirks that make us who we are, we start to feel bad about them and shove them further and further down and not share them with anyone. So, what this guy was saying is that it's important for us to accept that, yes, we are different. We do view the world a little bit differently. Um, like a lot of INFPs happen to be either vegetarian or vegan because like we have this thing where we don't like to hurt animals and stuff a lot of times. Not all the same, but a lot of us do. So that might make us different from a lot of people around us who are like, oh my God, you're vegan? Really? What are you like super picky? Or they think we're just trying to be trendy. Let them think what they want and appreciate that you really love animals and you don't want to eat anything that isn't vegan, or whatever the quirk is. Learn that are kind of accepted and analyze it as we do everything. We analyze everything to death and just be proud of who we are. Because once we're proud of who we are, then we'll be more willing to share those aspects of ourselves with someone who we feel is trustworthy. And that brings up the second point this person made, which was to open up to people, to tell them what you're thinking, like literally tell them what you're thinking. And I'm so guilty of this, where it's not that I assume other people know what I think, it's just that I'm afraid that if I say what I think, it's going to be too much. Because as with all INFPs, we have so much going on inside constantly. Like it's a storm of emotions and overanalyzed thoughts, just everything. So if you look at us, like sometimes we'll just be sitting there like this, And it's because we're trying to contain the storm. And I'm so afraid a lot of times that I'm going to overwhelm people with my analysis of whatever. Like if someone asks, "What did you think of that movie?" I want to go on a 2 hour long in-depth explanation of everything I thought about a movie. But a lot of times I'll end up saying, "It was really good. And I liked the actress's dress. Yeah, it was very cute." And then I'll ask them, "What do you think?" and let them talk. But we have to stop doing that. When someone asks us a question, we have to answer like straight from our heart, even if we feel like it makes us look ridiculous. And maybe it will make us look ridiculous, and maybe the other person who's listening will be like, "Oh my God, you're kind of ridiculous," and I like that. And then that'll, open the door to further communication, and we'll be less afraid to open up to that person who we want to make a connection with. Because one of the things that usually happens with us, if we get into a relationship with someone, at some point down the line, usually their problem with us becomes that they don't know what's going on inside of us. They have no clue because we don't talk to them, and they start to feel shut out. So to kind of address that in the beginning, it helps to first of all appreciate who we are, realize there's nothing wrong with us. We're just weirdos, but that's okay. Appreciate it. And then open up and share the depth of our craziness with the person who we are interested in, because that's why they're talking to us and hanging around with us, because they want to know our craziness. So, yeah. Um, we just got to let people know what we're thinking, and not be so afraid of our own I don't want to say depth because it sounds really arrogant. Everybody has depth. Not be so afraid of what's going on in our heads. Yeah. And a third bonus tip, because I know I said there would only be 2 tips, but a third one is meeting new people, especially in the dating arena, can be really, really scary. So, a third tip is to just face your fears. And this is something I am working on. It's not easy. But what helps me is like kind of loosening up. And one song that helps me because it's so stupid is the song that's literally entitled Face Your Fears or Crazy Ex Girlfriend by Rachel Bloom. It's really, really funny. And if you have not watched the YouTube video for that song, you should. It's hilarious. But it's all about facing your fears. You run with scissors, swim or eat right after swimming, do whatever you need to do to get out there and enjoy yourself. So I don't know if this was super helpful. Probably not. But I do think that the guy's advice who I told you about, those 2 tips on really learning to appreciate yourself, even if you have been misunderstood in the past, and about opening up and telling people what we're thinking, that is valuable. It's just difficult to do, but we can and we will. Well, if you have other advice, please feel free to share it. And I hope that you have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching.